Hey, dear family.
Hey, everyone.
Today we are reflecting on Psychology Today and an article that we read in Psychology Today a couple years ago, actually. Psychology Today is an online directory in which people can find a therapist that is a good fit for them. They can filter the search by Christian or female or male, and it's a neat directory. It's the largest online directory of therapists, and we like Psychology Today. We get a lot of clients. We get clients from Psychology Today. We're both listed on Psychology Today, and we get this monthly magazine, which all therapists who are on Psychology Today receive. So we like reading through it. It has some good stuff. Kind of a mix of, how would you describe it?
Some science and some opinion.
Yes, some science and some opinion. So, an opinion article a couple years ago got us talking and researching. And I'm going to read to you a quote from this article a couple years ago. So, Susan P. Skuda in this Psychology Today article said, "Marriage is an outdated tradition, a stale paradigm. Rather than having only a choice to marry the same old way, let's get a little imaginative and come up with marital options that would be better suited to a variety of people, including a short-term trial union for younger couples,
why not?
A child-rearing marriage for those who'd like to be nothing more than co-parents, or a socially acceptable live-apart arrangement." So we read that and we just started researching it, and now this topic of postmodern trends and millennials and marriage has been part of our how we open up our marriage seminars when we speak at a lot of churches.
Yeah. So what's going on here with marriage in the 21st century? What are the postmodern trends and agendas?
Yeah.
So in 1960, the median age at first marriage was 20 for women and 23 for men. So let's fast forward now to 2016. The median age at first marriage is 27 for women and 29 for men.
Yeah. So it's changed quite a bit. And that's not bad in and of itself. Yeah. I mean, we are for people waiting when they're waiting for God to bring them the right person.
Waiting for good reasons.
Good reasons. Going to school, although you can go to school together.
We did that.
Yes. But there are reasons that people wait to get married, and many of them are very legit. So We're not saying that waiting to get married is a bad thing in and of itself. But let's kind of examine the trends and see why people are waiting to get married.
Well, really what people are doing is that they're enjoying all the benefits of marriage. So intimacy, right? Sexual intimacy. And they're enjoying, long-term commitment or not so committed marriage.
Yeah.
Or
for many.
Yeah, not so committed relationship. But what's happening is they don't think it's necessary to get married.
But they still want to live together.
Right.
This is what we're seeing. Pew Research said that 25% of millennials, and a millennial is someone who's born roughly around 1980 all the way to about 1999.
So us.
Yeah, so most of you and us, give or take a few years. So some people will say that it's more like 1979 or 1982, and some people will say it cuts off at 1996. But somewhere in there, we're considered millennials. So Pew Research says 25% of millennials are likely to never be married. So to put that in perspective, the baby boomers, so our grandparents, only 9% remained unmarried.
Which is crazy.
And then Generation X, our parents' generation, 18% remained
So society,
unmarried.
in Western society, is changing like crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So young couples are opting to live together and put off marriage for another time, for later, if at all. And then about a quarter of unmarried young adults, ages 25 to 34, are living with a partner, according to Pew Research. So this is the trend that we're seeing. So a few more statements from recent articles and books on this topic. Kate Bollock, in her book, All the Single Ladies, said, "It's time to embrace new ideas about romance and family." And then in the Canadian Institute, the Vanier Institute of the Family, they put out some statistics in 2017 indicating that Canadians are waiting to start families and that many families live under different roofs because it because of one parent working and another parent being in another part of the country, or because they're older parents choosing to live apart. And they said families are continuing to redefine the traditional pattern of meeting, marrying, living together, and then having children. Families are one of the most adaptable institutions in history. Adaptable institutions in history, that's what they say.
Which it seems like that's untested.
Right. I think this is just a claim that's being made. And then one other quote from Meg Murphy of Bentley University in an article called Why Millennials Refuse to Get Married. She said, "Will the millennial generation usher in a new era that saves marriage by allowing it to evolve? Radical as it might seem, they just might." So this paradigm shift, this is very indicative of the millennial mindset for marriage, which is, serve me. I need what's in it for me rather than serving someone else.
So really what they're doing is redefining, that they may want to make marriage something different.
Yeah. Redefine it, make it serve them.
Right. And really one of their arguments that we came across was that if God created love, which everybody acknowledges love as something to be beautiful, it's one of the best things that everybody wants, right? And they say, if God created love and chooses to give it to two individuals, regardless of their marital status or gender, then how can we say it's wrong?
And this is an argument we actually came across.
Right. How can we say that love is in any shape or form is wrong since God created it? Did you pick up on that? Did God create love? I think there's maybe a false presupposition within that question that invalidates their whole argument.
Yeah, and thus the conclusion of the argument.
Right.
So their premise one was, if God created love and chooses to give it to two individuals, regardless of their marital status, gender, etc., then how can we say it's wrong? So the conclusion is then it must be right, regardless. So that presupposition in the question creates a false paradigm.
So in our next episode, we're going to explore this in more depth and give a practical apologetic at what love really is inside a Christian worldview and how it's played out in marriage.
Yeah, we're going to give practical tips for how to take that biblical model of marriage and apply it in your marriage. So stay tuned for that.